Hello, and welcome to Balfour Beatty's Infrastructure Matters podcast series. We are delighted to have you with us. I'm Sajni, and I will be your host. In this episode, we are celebrating National Inclusion Week 2022. This year, the theme is Time to Act, the Power of Now. This is about embedding behaviours now that will make inclusion an everyday reality. That is why Balfour Beatty is taking action by improving our family-friendly policies and introducing a new set of diversity and inclusion targets by 2030. Ultimately, we want to build a working environment that makes our people feel happy at work and want to grow their careers with us, so that everyone can reach their full potential and we become an even better business. Today, I am joined by representatives from across our Affinity Networks. Mukta Hashmi, Head of Procurement and Co-Chair of our Gender Networks. Harry Williams, Head of Transformation and Digital in our Power business, representing the LGBTQ+ network. Debo, an Account Manager for New Energy from our Multicultural Network. Ben Webber, a Field Engineer in IT Operations, representing our Ability Network. And finally, we've got Emily Hancox, an Environmental and Sustainability Manager representing the Neurodiversity Steering Group. Very warm greetings to you all, and thank you so much for joining us.
Great to be here.
Thank you.
Looking forward to it.
Amazing. So, Mukta, let's start with you. This year's theme for National Inclusion Week is Power is Now. So, why is diversity and inclusion more important than ever?
The themes for National Inclusion Week have evolved over the last 10 years. We've progressed from Think Differently in 2013 through to United for Inclusion in 2021. This year's theme, Time to Act, the Power of Now. And this theme really highlights the belief that a more action-focused approach to inclusion is needed to bring about impactful change. We need to empower everyone to take action to make a positive difference in D&I and to equip our colleagues with knowledge and understanding so we can spread that culture. Our goals are to build an inclusive culture that nurtures people where everyone can fulfill their full potential. Improving our diversity is not a nice to have, it's a business imperative. I hear many people say D&I is the right thing to do, but I believe it's much more than that, and it's incumbent on everyone to play their part in moving the dial, having a welcoming, supportive, safe and fair workplace for everyone to be themselves at work and work within any constraints of family life. D&I is more important than ever now because we need to embrace it to meet our current and future skills demands, broaden our talent pools, retain the experts, achieve greater creativity and innovation, and really strengthen the employee experience and enhance business performance. Balfour Beatty's new improved family-friendly policies, I think, are really going to help with the skills demands challenge that we face. This will have a huge impact on gender equality and will hopefully encourage women to return back to work after maternity leave. It's believed that about 25% of women tend not to come back after maternity simply due to unconducive policies, and it's definitely going to help move the dial in D&I. So this is something I'm really pleased to, that we're doing.
Thank you so much, Mukta. And I think you've perfectly summarised why diversity and inclusion is particularly important and why people at Balfour Beatty, especially our colleagues, might feel at home with having these new policies in particular. So, Ben, how has your affinity network helped you on a personal level?
I think when I started in 2020 that I managed to be successful. That was because of my hard work, but I had a really supportive group around me. And what Balfour Beatty is great at is it just goes, if you need anything, give us a call, and that's always really great. And that's when I've really benefited from it. And if I wasn't really up to something, then I'll be able to ask for help. And as a personal level, that's really kind of made me more like all right, okay, I'm a dyspraxic employee, but it's almost a bit like the case of I think anyone should be able to go, yeah, I might need help on this day, I might need some guidance there, but also I want to be a sounding board for others, because I feel like there's so many people out there who have this, who have similar disabilities, that it just, they may need a little bit of support and guidance, because I've been there from a background where kind of life was hard a little bit. I want to give something back, and I feel like now, 2 years on, it's like I've overcome stuff, and that's great. But now I'm really looking forward to actually mentoring people in the Affinity Network, but I'm also part of the neurodiversity, and I wouldn't change it for the world. So yeah, that's me.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing, Ben. And it sounds like you've really settled into the business, and you're in an environment and alongside colleagues who have encouraged you to be your true self. And that's all we really want here at Balfour Beatty. And I think that perfectly leads into our next question, which is for Davo. So, Davo, what is your definition of diversity and inclusion, and what does it mean to you?
Thank you. For me, diversity means difference. How I see it is, for example, what makes me different from you? What makes me different from everyone else? I mean, diversity means being able to coexist together with some type of mutual understanding, no matter what my age is, my color, my faith, sexuality, my gender, disabilities, cultural backgrounds, lifestyle or experiences. I think all that together, being able to coexist together with some mutual understanding is what diversity means to me. Working for a company like Balfour Beatty, for example, it's good to see that, the D&I aim to increase the number of minorities and ethnic and black employees by 60% by 2030. It's great to see, and it makes me feel proud to be part of a company that at the forefront and is forward looking at the future. My definition of inclusion is creating a space where I can feel myself, when you come to work and feel yourself. More importantly, and I have to state this, more importantly, is I have to respect other people as well. Respect other people's views, other people's lifestyle, other people's values. It might not be in line with mine, but it's very important that I respect them as well. So that's what diversity and inclusion means to me.
I absolutely love the fact that you're proud to work for Balfour Beatty. And I think I can say on behalf of all of our speakers here today that we're all proud to work for a company that does include diversity and inclusion. So, Carrie, what has influenced your thinking around diversity and inclusion and motivated you to get involved in being an advocate for change?
I think in terms of what's influenced my thinking around D&I, it goes back as far as I can remember. So I was brought up on a council estate in the middle of Nottingham. So I was surrounded by people like me. And it was only then through kind of education, through travel, through conversations with people who were different to me and had a different experience in life that I really started to become curious about what that meant to them, and how that showed up, and what made them amazing. I've found that in my personal life and in work. So I think more recently in work, the power of positive D&I, I've seen the energy that's been released when people feel that it's safe to be themselves and share whatever part of themselves that they want to, but that there is an energy that seems to be released when they don't need to hold things back, and they know that they're accepted and welcomed and celebrated as who they are. And that for me is, I think, that's the magic in D&I. And then in terms of what's motivated me to be an advocate for change, that I think I've realised more and more over the years the importance of representation. And so I have to challenge myself to stand up and represent the things that kind of make me different, and that can show other women, other people in the LGBTQ community, people in the neurodiversity spectrum, that people can share their whole selves and be accepted. So I challenge myself to do that, to support others.
I honestly don't know what to say to that. All of our speakers here today are very influential, but the three words that that stood out to me were accepted, welcomed, and celebrated. And I definitely felt all of those three when I joined the business only a year ago. So, Emily, what are some successful initiatives Balfour Beatty has implemented to help with diversity and inclusion culture?
Well, to help make Balfour Beatty a more inclusive business by 2030, we've recently announced a set of targets, increasing the number of female colleagues to 50% by 2030 and increasing the number of minority, ethnic and Black employees to 60% by 2030. So by committing to these hard targets, we can help make diversity and inclusion at Balfour Beatty an everyday reality for everyone. Other initiatives include our reverse mentoring programs, which connects members of different underrepresented groups across the business with senior executives. The program aims to provide a richer understanding of the challenges faced by minorities at a senior level. We also have the 5% Club, which is the employer-led movement which champions investment in the next generation through workplace training. We have our EcoSense cabins, which have been created in collaboration with Sunbelt Rentals. These are a sustainable site cabin design with integrated disability and neurodiverse features. The cabin is suitable for neurodiverse people as well as neurotypical, and it creates stimulating environments which help people work better. We also have the Affinity Networks, which is our employee-led networks, which are a safe space for issues, suggestions and challenges to be shared, where people feel empowered to speak up, to make meaningful change, to promote a more inclusive workplace that enables innovation, understanding and harmony. And I really believe that a company that spearheads diversity and inclusion, it makes me really proud to be part of.
I think as individuals, we can all help spearhead, like you said, spearhead these ambitions that Balfour Beatty has set on a group level. So how can we better recognise, embrace and celebrate diversity in the workplace? Mukta, do you want to go?
Yeah, happy to go. So I think one of the best things someone can do is to be an ally. Showing empathy goes a long way to help us achieve our vision. An ally doesn't necessarily mean that you can completely identify with the experiences, of a person or a group, but it does mean that you'll stand with them and for them in the face of bias or discrimination. As an ally, what you're really doing is acting for others in pursuit of helping to end whether it's sort of barriers being faced or any sort of, biases, prejudices, etc. And that effort can take the form of educating others, being a voice, a sponsor or mentor. Allies can really leverage their power and influence and the privilege to help someone overcome some of the hurdles or barriers that exist because of sort of situations or characteristics. And, it's really important to show understanding and empathy when you're being an ally. Don't make it about you. Try to put yourself in their shoes and ask yourself, what would it be like to be you? A woman, a transgender, someone in a wheelchair, person of colour, bisexual, etc. If you can't see things from their perspective right away, it doesn't matter. What's really important is that you believe the other person and their feelings anyway, and really sort of help to validate that.
That's absolutely amazing. So I've just recently been involved on the Thrive program, which is for underrepresented groups within the business, and I absolutely love it. And one of the key things that we learned in our first session was to put yourself in someone else's shoes. And I actually recently faced a situation where I realized I had to take a step back, actually think about what the other person was saying. It's actually amazing how you can change your mindset so much by just thinking from someone else's perspective. Carrie, did you have an answer to our question?
I did, and I suppose it's thinking about things from other people's perspectives. I was going to say I think that people can be curious, asking questions and exploring differences. I think that's certainly one thing that's helped me throughout my life. And as long as those questions come from a positive place, I think it's important to say it's okay if it feels a little bit awkward or if you use the wrong language. If it comes from a positive place and the person you're having the conversation with knows that, then it's okay. I've experienced that. I've asked a question that's not felt quite right, and vice versa, that it's okay if it's from a positive place, then the person that you're having the conversation with, I'm sure, will understand and will appreciate that you've taken the time to ask the question.
I absolutely love that, because I start thinking about, oh, am I asking a really stupid question? No question is ever stupid, but okay, I'm in an environment where I can be myself, where I can ask whatever I want to whoever I want to, and still get quite a good answer back. Emily, did you have an answer to that initial question?
I mean, I would just echo what Mukta and Carrie have just said, taking time to get to know your teams, and asking and understanding individual challenges and strengths to see what you can do to help them break down their barriers, I guess.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I think, Dabo, you'd probably want to add in on that, or agree as well.
I want to agree with it, and I also want to say, because I've been on the program with you as well, and one thing we took away was assumptions. Obviously, don't make assumptions, ask questions, like Carrie and Emily said, ask questions, ask the question, like you said, coming from a good place. The questions are genuine questions. You want to know more about the person, you want to find out more about the people. And I think, obviously, again, going back to what Balfour Beatty has done with inclusion, having a target by 2030, I haven't seen many companies do that. And to work for a company that had something like that, to have a target in place where, in a nice way, to know my job is secured for that. It's great to know that everyone's included as well. So it gives everybody a place. You're part of a big family as well. So I think it's great to be part of Balfour Beatty. I've been here for 9 months myself, and I can say exactly the same. I felt very welcome, and obviously everyone's been very welcome. I can ask questions, and I know I'll get an answer and support if needed, like Ben was saying earlier as well.
Being part of a family, that's what we all are at the end of the day, isn't it? Ben, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I just think I would like to echo something as well, because I think to get to know someone, you've got to go through the values first before you can teach them skills. And when I become that top person in my career, I want to be able to see humans, not actual skills as well.
Yeah, 100% agree. I feel like if you're in a really supportive network around people that make you feel as though you're at home, you're really going to excel in a positive environment. But thank you so much to everyone for joining us today. It's been great to have an honest discussion on such an important topic. And for those of you who are listening in and took the time to play or download this podcast, a big thank you to you as well.